Good morning to all of you. This is Shashikant. Today we are going to discuss a topic from scientific methodology. Here we will start our discussion with a question and then we will explain the solution of that question. Basically, here we will talk about dependent variable, independent variable, confounding variable, and how to design control, how to design experiments, and then we will also study how to make hypothesis, and then we will apply these concepts in solving the question, and then we will form a hypothesis, and then we will find out the dependent and independent variable in that hypothesis. So let's start with a question. The question which you can see on the screen, it says determine dependent and independent variable in the following experiment and write how the control can be done in this experiment. Glucose and protein were offered as a nutrition source to the different tubes containing yeast, and carbon dioxide production was measured as an indication of growth. First of all, let us understand what is independent variable. An independent variable is basically a variable that the researcher can control and manipulate with, and it doesn't depend upon the experiment. Whereas dependent variable, it is a type of variable that depend upon the outcome of experiment. This is not something a researcher directly control. However, researcher can change the value of dependent variable by designing a different kind of experimental setup or by changing the independent variable. The next is confounding variable. The confounding variable is a kind of variable that is different from the independent variable. However, it also controls the output of the experiment. In other words, the confounding variable can also change the value of dependent variable. That's why before starting the experiment, researcher must make sure that he or she has controlled all those confounding variables. The next important thing is operationalizing the variable. What does operationalizing variable means? So what happens, sometimes we are doing experiment, we have to define our terms. For example, suppose you want to measure the growth of an organism. How will you measure the growth? Like, how do you define growth? The first way to define growth is increase in a height of the organism, or the second way to define the growth is increase in a mass of the organism. So we can utilize these two criteria to define the growth. Similarly, while operationalizing the variable, we have to define our variable so that we can measure that variable quantitatively, and after the experiment is done, we can note down the exact value of the dependent variable. Now let's move on to the designing the control. So before designing the control, let's try to understand what's the control actually means. What is control group? A control group is a group that doesn't receive any treatment, or the independent variable is not applied over them. That's why it acts as a reference. However, in experimental group, we give treatment to the experimental group, or in another words, independent variable is applied over them, and we expect them to show some predictable changes on the parameter of dependent variable. The next thing we need to understand is what is hypothesis. So a hypothesis is a statement that states the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. It is basically a tentative explanation of the natural phenomena that researcher is interested in. There are two types of hypothesis. The first is null hypothesis and the second is alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis states that there is no relationship between independent and dependent variable, whereas the alternate hypothesis states that there is relationship between independent and dependent variable. Now let's get back to the question. So in the question, we were told to write an hypothesis and then find out the dependent and independent variable and then design the control group. So let's go back to the question first. The question says that glucose and proteins were offered as nutrient source to the different tubes containing yeast, and CO2 production was measured as an indication of growth. By looking at this statement, we are sure that glucose and proteins are independent variable, because these are something which we can control, like we can increase the quantity of glucose and protein or we can decrease the quantity of glucose and protein. And the dependent variable is growth of the yeast, because we cannot directly control the growth of the yeast. However, by increasing or decreasing the quantity of glucose and protein, we can influence the growth of the yeast. Now the next problem is, how do we define growth? Like we discussed before, here we are saying that the yeast is growing, but we need to operationalize the term growth. Operationalize means we need to define the term growth. So in the context of yeast, we can use the CO2 production as a indication of growth, because during the growth of the yeast undergo aerobic respiration. During aerobic respiration, carbon dioxide is produced. That's why we can use carbon dioxide as a measure of growth. Now let's write the hypothesis. After looking at the question, the best hypothesis we can make, and note here we are writing alternate hypothesis, because the null hypothesis says that there is no any correlation or there is no any relationship between dependent and independent. We are not interested in that. we want to find out the relationship between the glucose and protein and the growth. So we will write the alternate hypothesis as yeast needs glucose and protein for growth. This is the simplest hypothesis we can make. Now, like we discussed before, here we can see that production of carbon dioxide is something dependent. It is dependent variable because it will depend upon the protein and glucose. The more protein and glucose we put in the medium, the more carbon dioxide is produced. Therefore, we can say that glucose and protein are independent variable. Now let's talk about how do we design control group here. Like we have defined before, that control group is something which doesn't receive any treatment. So in this case, our treatment is glucose and protein. So we will make sure that our tube, which we are considering as a control group, doesn't contain glucose and protein as a nutrient source. And we also have to make sure that all the confounding variables are taken care of, they are controlled. What does confounding variable means here? For example, temperature, pressure. We need to keep those variables constant in control and in experimental condition, so that our result doesn't get confounded by these external factors. So similarly, our experimental group will be the tube containing yeast which has received the treatment, that is, that has received glucose and protein as a nutrient source. And here also we have to make sure that all the confounding variables are controlled. So we have solved this question completely. I hope that you guys have understood all the solutions which we have discussed here. If you have any problem, you can comment in the section below. That's all for the today's. Thank you.